Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So another poll came out this week that shows in New Jersey, the governor's race that's going to be taking place in about 5 to 6 weeks is tightening significantly, and Jack Ciattarelli and Mikey Sherrill are in a dead heat, a statistical tie. And this is Emerson. Emerson is known for being pretty good, pretty solid of a pollster. And we saw this past weekend that Jack led his first poll. It was a Republican-aligned pollster, but it also ended up being the most accurate pollster in the state in 2021, when a lot of the polls had Jack losing by around 10, and he only ended up losing by about 3. This poll out of Emerson is now showing Jack just neck and neck with Mikey Sherrill, who's getting exposed on the daily. And it brings back memories from 4 years ago, not in New Jersey necessarily, but in the state of Virginia. You had an open seat. You had a strong Republican running up against a weak Democrat. That weak Democrat had problems with their own party, just like Terry McAuliffe in Virginia had problems with his own party. And Jack Ciattarelli is rising up in the ranks, and that's the race people are focusing on. Virginia, not really a race that I'm all that concerned with. I encourage people, get out and vote no matter where you live. That's true. But of a race where the Republicans are going to have a possible opportunity for victory, it is becoming increasingly apparent that it's New Jersey. Now, some of these crosstabs in this poll are probably off, as all polls have wonky crosstabs, even the most accurate ones. I don't believe Jack's only at 18% of voters 18 to 29. I don't necessarily think he's winning voters 60 to 69 by 15 points. He doesn't need to win, but they kind of cancel out. That's the main point. When you look at this, this is the second poll in about a week. Second poll that was released in like a 5-6 day span that shows a tied race or a Jack lead. And New Jersey's a state where the Republicans are energized. And you saw this in 2024 because Donald Trump, he lost it by 17 in 2020. He cut that lead to less than 6 percentage points. It was just about as close as the so-called swing state of Arizona was the other way in 2024. And Donald Trump had a strategy where he would focus on making inroads in certain places like Essex County, like Passaic County, which I believe he flipped. A lot of Hispanics live there. He did much better in Bergen. The Newark area, Trump made the blue circles smaller and he made the red circles bigger. He won Ocean County, which is in eastern New Jersey. He won that by over 122,000 votes, one of the reddest counties in the country by raw votes. And it's about turning out voters. And yeah, some cases you're going to flip voters. Jack Ciattarelli is somebody who does have crossover appeal. He'll do extraordinarily well among Italians. He seems to have this ability to turn out some lower propensity voters. And last time he was kind of counter-signaling Trump, and I don't blame him too much for it because you kind of had to distance yourself in a state where he fell short by 17 points. And now it's a different ball game. He's kind of embraced Trump a little bit, but not in a way that's going to like hurt him among independent voters, where he now has Trump's blessing. He's got his endorsement. But at the same time, he's also got this independent appeal, and I don't think there's too many people that voted for him last time that are going to turn around and vote for this weak, corrupt Democrat. Now, turnout matters for sure. That can change the dynamic. I'm not saying he's guaranteed victory, but is there a pathway? Absolutely. And you look at the polling that we've seen, and Mikey Sherrill, she leads, but not by like double digits anymore. In RCP, she only leads by 6.5, but they don't even include that poll from National Research. And then you have Decision Desk HQ, where they have her up by just 4.2%. That's like margin of error right there. Now, New Jersey's still a blue state. We understand that. This is an environment where Democrats tend to be a little bit angrier because they're not in the White House. But what happened with Charlie Kirk may have changed the dynamic a little bit. And Mikey Sherrill's response has been awful. It's been just garbage, where she went out there and tried to defend voting for a resolution that condemned the killing to the left-wing, far-left base, basically saying that, no, it's the real outrage here is the people who are teachers and doctors that got fired from their jobs for just going out there and slandering, not only slandering Charlie Kirk, but celebrating his death. I don't think people that celebrate assassinations should be in those positions of power. That's not a free speech issue. That's not an issue of cancel culture that the left has spearheaded over the past 10 years. That's just basic common sense, especially for those professions. This isn't like, oh, this guy's like a cashier at 7-Eleven or whatever. This is like serious stuff. You cannot be doing that. And then lies about Charlie Kirk. We've been over that before. And then attacks Donald Trump and compares him to Joseph McCarthy. Okay, whatever. Bottom line is, she is not fit for this office, and I think we understand that. And it's not even just the Charlie Kirk thing, but this kind of shows the fact you would release a statement like this at all if you're in the lead is a problem, because if anything, you're trying to squander the lead. Feels more like a gamble. Tells me that her internal polls are not showing what some of these polls have been showing, where you had like Mikey Sherrill leading by like 10 or something like that. I don't think that it's going to be like that. I think you look at the most accurate polls and you see, yeah, the most accurate poll is the one that shows Jack ahead, and he's got all the momentum. And you've got how many weeks to go? 5 weeks or so before Election Day? I think it's 5 from Tuesday. But still, that's a long, long time if you just try to understand where the momentum lies. And then you look at the previous election cycle, Emerson, now they have a tie. They had Murphy winning by 6. Monmouth had Murphy by 11. He only won by 3. Rutgers Eagleton had him up by 8. And that's the final poll. Their September polls were a little bit different. Monmouth in September, when National Research dropped the most accurate poll in the race, they had a 13-point win. That's off by 10 points. So you kind of see the different dynamic now. And it's not just the Charlie Kirk thing. You also have the fact that she's getting attacked. You know, she tried to lie about Jack supporting some taxes or whatever. It seems like that's backfired, especially because Democrats at the state level are dropping the ball there, but also voting against the Lake and Riley Act. It's common sense bipartisan legislation. This is kind of a swing state now. You can't afford to be voting against things like that. Even John Ossoff in Georgia, if he didn't vote for that, he probably, in my opinion, would not be favored. But on top of that, and I'm not saying that John Ossoff is going to win, but that's besides the point. Cheryl also voted against the protection of women and girls in sports. She's kind of radical on the whole transgender thing, and that's going to be brought up in ads. And also you have the assault weapons ban, where she voted for it, which again, New Jersey's not the most pro-gun state. I get that, but still, it's something that will energize a lot of voters, more low-propensity voters who are in the rural part of the state and do rely on their AR-15s for their own protection. So again, I don't think that's necessarily something that's going to help her, but it gets even worse because she was in the military. She made her whole persona, oh, I'm a Navy mom. I'm in the military. I was in the military. Well, here's the deal. She was banned from walking with her class at the 1994 Naval Academy commencement over a cheating scandal, which she lied about, by the way. And this is according to the New Jersey Globe. And she's also involved in insider trading. So the scandals run deep. And you could look at not this clip here, but this clip. This is one of the most ridiculous clips I've ever seen of anybody. This is like career ending, or should be career ending. Take a listen.
So when Newsmax claims that you made $7 million from stock trades, what are they talking about?
Newsmax is, first of all, a very questionable organization that is paying multiple fines. I'm not sure what they're talking about.
Well, did you make $7 million in stock trades at all? Or?
I haven't. I don't believe I did, but I'd have to go see what that was alluding to again. What kind of came from.
So you did or you didn't? It's not, I believe I did or didn't. This is $7 million. You know if you've done it. It's a yes or no. That's a guilt admission. Also, going after Newsmax, it's irrelevant who covered it. Could have been some random homeless guy on the street, but if the information's correct, the information's correct. Just a appeal to authority fallacy, but going the other way. So she is clearly getting exposed on the daily. It's only getting worse, and it reminds me of what happened with Terry McAuliffe. And I know that this is an environment that, again, Democrats are the angry ones more so than the Republicans, but Republicans are also getting angry, and New Jersey is not necessarily going to be representative of the nation as a whole. And Republicans there tend to be a little bit more energized based off of the fact that the entire state is kind of moving to the right and they're not fond of state leadership there. I mean, there was a poll that had Phil Murphy's approval rating in the gutter. That's not a good sign. And Jack Ciattarelli is somebody who is relatively likable, will do well among swing voters in the state, will peel off some independents who probably don't like Trump all that much. And I think he can ride that wave to victory. I'm not saying he's going to, but is there a chance? Is there an opportunity for him to do so? Absolutely. Jack was like, 70,000 votes away in 2021. All he needs to do is get his support base out, and he's going to be, and he already is basically a lot better funded now. Democrats are a lot more divided now. They have that divided primary field. Cheryl is losing endorsements from unions that are going to Jack. So there's plenty of reason to believe that this is a winnable race. I'll say that. Am I going to say Republicans are favored? Not yet. But still, this is a recipe for a Republican win, given the trajectory of the race, and we need to draw more attention to this and get people out and voting, because the elections don't start on Election Day anymore, and we need to take advantage of that, and whenever we do, we end up winning. So let's make sure we get out enough voters that we possibly can in the Garden State. So hopefully Jersey Jack can cross that finish line. But anyways, guys, make sure you guys like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.